The Lawrence Humane Society tries to transfer in animals from other agencies whenever we have space to maximize the impact of how we're able to help animals in our region. And Gibson, along with his litter mates, were transferred in from a low-capacity shelter. When he arrived, he was about 7 months old, and all of his litter mates got adopted, but unfortunately, Gibson remained here, and it took quite some time for us to find the perfect home for him. It became important for us to provide a lot of intervention to preserve his mental health. Dogs are not intended to stay in our care long term. As much as we love them, the shelter is not the ultimate outcome for these animals. We want them in a home setting. And in the meantime, we have to provide them with outlets for expressing natural dog behavior. This is where our behavior team comes in.
One of the first things we did whenever they got here is we dog tested them with all their siblings and got them started coming out to playgroups and stuff, since playgroups are our biggest form of enrichment and how we preserve the dog's mental health while they're in the shelter. He really enjoyed playing with his siblings, and then we also worked on providing daily food puzzles and enrichment in his kennel. And then we also collaborated with our clinic and our medical team on starting him on behavioral medication to help kind of ease some of that anxiety that he was experiencing every day. As he was here over the months, he started to get a little bit more defensive in playgroups with other dogs. He would be a little bit more snappy, he was less tolerant. So he struggled in the shelter very much.
I feel like that it's very important to do all that I can to get as many eyes on this animal as possible. In Gibson's case, we were really fortunate that he had a lot of time out with our Mass Street Mutts program. So even though he was struggling here, you could see these moments of where he was going out with folks, and you could tell that he was so fun. And there was so much light in him when he got to leave the shelter for a little bit and experience some time away from this stressful situation.
The Lawrence Humane Society's general philosophy is that we don't euthanize for time or space. But for us, responsibly, we can't allow an animal to lose its mind and just continue to warehouse it. And Gibson absolutely was one of those dogs. And it took a lot of intervention to keep him going while we continue to find a solution for him. Fortunately, that solution came in the form of a foster home.
I lost my beloved pet about a year ago. I was really missing having a dog. I'd been having some medical issues that we knew that a service dog might be helpful for. And so we signed up to foster a little bit ahead of being ready. I wasn't sure. I was like, you know, I'm whatever dog needs the most help, that's who we can be a place. And they were like, hey, we've got this perfect dog in mind, Gibson. And I had remembered seeing some emails about him and him on the foster list. And I was like, heck yeah, let's do it. Bring him on out. And I was just immediately in love. It was, I think, the 24th or 23rd of April when we got him to our house. And after a long day of work on the 26th, I came home and he just would not leave me alone. I thought he was just wanting to play, and so I took him back outside and we're playing fetch. And I'm starting to not feel very good and really feel like I need to sit down, and he just wouldn't leave me alone. So I come in and I sit down and he's just in my face, and I ended up actually falling into a grand mal seizure at that point. The next thing I know, I'm coming to, and my partner's on the phone with 911, and in hindsight, we're pretty sure he's been noticing what's going on, or noticing something's going on since he got home with us. Maybe a month after that, I had started tracking and paying attention to my symptoms more, and I'm realizing these episodes that I thought were maybe like panic attacks, that was actually seizure activity as well. When I am having a seizure versus maybe just being anxious, it seems like Gibson notices, and he stops what he's doing, and he'll at least like look at me and be like, what's going on? It does make it scarier to go by myself anywhere, because if I start having an episode, or God forbid if I have another grand mal seizure, like what's going to happen. But also, you know, he's shown at home at least that he knows something's wrong. He'll go find a person and bring them back to me. All of these things that he's showing us he knows how to do, we're able to build on. And so he's really a remarkable little guy. And we're really, really, really fortunate to have landed with him. Gibson has meant everything over the last 3 months. It has been a very challenging time with a lot of unknowns. I just finished my master's degree in 2022. I really care a lot about crisis work and about helping people who maybe fall through the cracks of care in our community. And the reality is that these seizures and these episodes that I've been having mean that I don't have the capacity, at least right now, to do that. I cannot imagine and don't want to imagine how much harder the last 4 months would have been had we not had Gibson. He brings a lot of joy. We literally daily, he's making us laugh. He is such a playful, joyful dog, especially for what he's gone through and knowing how long and how stressed out he was here. Like, he is just so happy.
It's difficult whenever animals come into the shelter. This is like the most traumatic place that they could probably ever be in their lives. And so getting to build that relationship with the dogs over time, even though sometimes it can take weeks, sometimes it can take months, once they do come out of that shell, it is so amazing to see like how much of a dog they are. Like, they're just pet dogs, but they just don't look like that when they're in the shelter.
Gibson is the embodiment of why we don't want to give up on animals at the Lawrence Humane Society. Dogs are not their past. They're not how they behave in the shelter. And they have so much potential when they get into a forever home. And we are committed to pursuing a positive outcome for every animal that enters our doors.